Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Hello, welcome, Hare Krishna. This is See Through. It is a podcast with myself, Achyuta Gopi, and this is a place where we come to gain some spiritual insight, where we help to walk each other through these spiritual sacred texts, and where we come to post some questions, have some sangha, be together with one another, gain some spiritual strength, because all of my spiritual teachers have told me that this is how we gain the best spiritual strength. So let's see. Just making sure that everything is working. There used to be a section where you could send in comments. Now it's saying that comments are not supported on private videos. It's been a very interesting day. When I first started to go live, it says, you do not have permission to go live. I was like, actually, the only one with permission to go live on this channel. It's my channel. And then I had to go and reboot and do all the things. And so now, just trying to make sure that we are able to go live and that we're able to have comments. My question is, why does this look like this is a private video when it should not be? So if you're there and you're able to comment, please let me know. And if you're not able to comment, also please let me know, because I'd like to figure that out. And hopefully everyone will be there. Let's see. Aha! Now I see the chat. Okay, wonderful. Wonderful. Yes, looks like everybody's here. So welcome once again. Thank you for being here. My name is Achyuta Gopi. If you are new, welcome for the first time. If you are a regular viewer, which I do see some of you here, thank you for being here. We also have a Zoom room through Patreon. So if you are not a part of Patreon and you would like to be a part of Patreon to get access to the Zoom room, please, write me in a comment after, and we'll put the Patreon link in the description box. But thank you for bearing with me and for being here with me and for staying with us through all the hiccups and such and such. The last time we were together, I was on my way to Vrindavan to spend the last few days of Kartik in the beautiful, wonderful playground of Sri Krishna known as Vrindavan. And so now it's been a few weeks after that, and I am back with all kinds of maybe realizations and adventures to share. But I wanted to share them under the auspices and under the headline of surrendering everything to Krishna. And I wanted to get back into reading Krishna book, which is what we were doing before I took this trip, and before all of the festival season, even during Govardhan Puja, we spent several weeks and several days really contemplating the pastime of Govardhan Puja. And so we skipped ahead a little bit within Krishna book from where we were in order to read the pastime of Govardhan Puja during the festival time. So now we're going to backtrack, which is really nice because we're still exactly in the time frame that we need to be in. So the chapter that we're going to be reading today is chapter 22 from Krishna book, which is stealing the garments of the unmarried Gopi girls. This works because this happens in the month of Margashirsha, which is what we are in right now. So there are many things that happen during this month, and we'll talk about them in just a moment. But I really want to impress upon us all the theme of today's see-through topic, which is surrendering everything to Krishna. And just looking at how everyone from all walks and any walks of life can surrender everything to Krishna. No matter who you are, no matter what job you have, no matter where you are, no matter any of these things, you can surrender everything to Krishna. There is nothing, absolutely nothing stopping you from surrendering your whole heart and everything that you are to Krishna. Usually, the only thing that stops us is our own mind. That mind tends to get in the way of our surrender and our sacrifice to our beloved, dear, most supreme bestie. So without further ado, Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Shri Radha Govinda Dev ki jai. Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. So, I was reading and kind of flipping through the book Vrindavan Mahimamrita, written by Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati. And I was thinking about Vrindavan. And I was thinking about all of the best things that are in Vrindavan. And I thought, in the mood and the style of Indradumna Maharaj, why don't we begin with a prayer to Sri Vrindavan Dham from Vrindavan Mahimamrita. Having retired from all my duties and being freed from all expectations, when will I enter the abode of Sri Vrindavan alone and pass my days discussing topics of Sri Krishna, the Lord of Vrindavan, and the topics of Sri Radha, the goddess of Vrindavan? Oh, shame on me! Even though I am desirous to serve the lotus feet of Sri Vrindavan Chandra, even though I have heard the statements of the great personalities, and even though I have realized that all material objects are meant to ruin my self-interest, I am unable to take shelter of Sri Vrindavan. O Mother Vrindavan, if I have seen you even once in my life, if I have uttered the names of Shri Radha and Krishna even once in my life, and if I have respectfully offered obeisances to those who have surrendered unto you, then I am confident that you will certainly not neglect me. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. All glories to the abode of Shri Vrindavan, which can give us all perfection and which can give us all protection. One day, we will enter into this land of Vrindavan alone and pass our days discussing the topics of Shri Radha, Govinda, Shri Gaur Nitai. And, I was just speaking with my dear friend Nila on the Zoom portion right before this live stream. We were just kind of discussing that we can sometimes have it in our minds that we are entering into the abode of Vrindavan, the geographical location, like the Boma Vrindavan, the physical location, the place on the earth. However, the abode of Vrindavan is always present within the mind and within the heart. And so when we dive into these topics of Krishna Katha, when we dive into Krishna book, we are entering into the land of Vrindavan. It is said in so many different places, Ananda Vrindavan Champu, appreciating Sri Vrindavan Dham, so many different places, that if there is a Tulsi plant, where the soil of the Tulsi meets the very branch of Tulsi Devi, there is Vrindavan. So if you have a Tulsi plant at home, there is Vrindavan. If you have a picture of Tulsi at home, there is Vrindavan. It still counts. She still accepts all of your worship. So today, it's about surrendering everything to Krishna. Sometimes we surrender everything to Krishna willingly, and sometimes Krishna takes everything against whatever we thought, against all of our previously conceived notions of what we thought we were going to offer, of what we thought how surrender was going to go. Any of these things, Krishna decides, I'm taking it. You've called me, I'm taking. I kind of feel as though I experienced this a little bit in Vrindavan, both a little bit and a lot of it. Be careful what you wish for. I had resolved that this last trip was going to be one of seva, one of prayer, and one of surrender, and Krishna fulfilled all three of those goals. It was a trip of seva, and that is the best thing you can ever do. If you ever think about going into the Holy Dham, even in your mind, if you go with a mood of, I just want to do some seva. There are 9 processes of devotional service. So hearing, chanting, remembering, these are devotional services. So even if you think, I want to enter into Vrindavan in the mood of service, let me read aloud this Krishna book to my friends. That is service to the Holy Dham and to Shri Krishna. So it is one of the best ways to get the mercy of the Holy Dham, is to enter with a mood of service, because then you're not just thinking, you know what, I want to enjoy all the things that are around here, because I guarantee you lots of things are going to go wrong. Externally, internally, loads of things are going to go wrong. But when we are in the mood of, look, I don't know, this wasn't for me, I'm just here to serve, it's so much easier to take all of the things that are inevitably going to go wrong. And then when we enter with a mood of surrender, okay, Lord, I'm just following you. You do what you do, and I am just following close behind, calling after you, following the sound of your flute, following the glimpse of that little peacock feather, following your beautiful golden chadar as it flows behind you, thinking, oh wait, there's my Krishna. If I can just follow. So this is kind of the mood of surrender. And I was thinking, Lord, do what you want. I had a conversation with my Lord Nityananda. I have a beautiful deity of Nitai. It's very cute, very handsome. And I had a conversation with him, and I thought, Nitai, you're in charge. I am simply going wherever you want me to go. So please guide me, guide this trip, guide everything. And as many of you know, I went to a beautiful temple of Dauji with an incredible deity of Dauji. He is 7.5 feet tall. I'm going to say that again, 7.5 feet tall. Feet tall. He's very big. He's quite majestic. The Pujari was saying that the way this deity of Dauji is made, he looks closest to what Balaram would have looked like. Very tall, very majestic, very stately and stout. He's a thick deity. And he was commissioned by the great-grandson of Shri Krishna, Vajranab. And as I was there, we did a big Maha Kirtan. And when we came out from that Maha Kirtan, everybody that I was with, and there was maybe 10, 12, 15 of us that were there together, everyone there together. They came out, they got their shoes, and then I looked, and mine were gone. Yeah. And I said, Dauji, okay, sure. And so I surrendered that pair. And I happened to have gone to Vrindavan with yet another pair, had a backup pair of shoes. Because, that's what you do. You bring a backup pair. So I bought a backup pair. And I was wearing those the next few days. And then somehow or other, just a few days later, maybe 2-3 days later, I went to Nandagaon, the very childhood home of Shri Krishna, Nanda Bhavan. and we did Kirtan. And when I got to Nandagan, I hid my shoes under one of my friend's shoes and around two other people's pairs of shoes. Kind of not together, just hid them around. And when we came back from that very Kirtan, my friend's shoes that were on top of my shoes were still there. The two other people's shoes were there. Mine were missing. Just mine. And so I kind of realized this is something intentional that Krishna is doing. And specifically, I really kind of thought, I was like, Daoji, once again, whenever I go and see you, you know, Krishna is one thing, but whenever I went to go see Balaram, when he was there, he decided, no, I am taking these shoes. But what is it when our shoes are gone? Vedically, we understand that by our feet is held so much karma, lifetimes of karma, which is why when you touch someone's feet, it is a very intense business. It's not just, oh yeah, there's something that we do. There's actually a karmic exchange between you and the person whose feet you've touched. You have given them all of your bad karma, and they have received it somehow or other. And so many of our gurus and spiritual teachers, you will see, they often are very sick because they are constantly on the receiving end of so many people's karma. So be very careful, because yes, it is a way of showing respect, but please understand the gravity of what you are doing. You are now giving somebody all of your negative karma. And these saints and pious people are so benevolent that they allow you to keep your good karma. They allow you to even take a portion of their good karma, but they simply take all of the bad karma. So please be careful. It's not just like a fun thing to do, like, oh, you know, even with babies, we see it, you know, because they're so close to Krishna, we often think, yes, but also there is a little bit of a karmic exchange. So please be mindful of each other, because this is the meaning of Sangha. Sangha means that, you know, we don't just come together to take and get, but now we become mindful of one another. We become mindful of taking care of one another. We become mindful of what we are sharing with one another. We become mindful of what we are dumping onto one another. So if you are any of those friends where, you know, you've become such a safe space that so many people come and they want to like offload all of the things, but then we have to become mindful as a Sangha. Are we also enriching the lives of those close to us? Or have we simply come to dump? Because even the sacred rivers get a little burnt out. Even the sacred rivers get a little tired, and then they have to go to Vrindavan. They journey to Pavan Sarovar, and they say, let us cleanse ourselves of all of these burdens. But they are so merciful that they are willing to take on all of these sacrifices just to please the Supreme Lord. These great souls, even entering into the ocean of sacred literatures like Srimad Bhagavatam, like Krishna book, this cleanses us. It is like taking a bath in any and all of the sacred rivers at once. How incredibly merciful. How incredibly merciful was Srila Prabhupada, willing to take on any and all difficulties, willing to accept all of the karma, willing to accept it all and beg for more time from the Supreme Lord, not for himself, but because he believed that this message of Krishna consciousness should go everywhere throughout the world. And he believed that people would take it. And he believed that there would be pure devotees that would bloom forth from understanding this knowledge. Srila Prabhupada had that faith, that somewhere there's at least one person who will be a pure devotee, who will take this Krishna consciousness and will take it to its fullest potential. He absolutely believed in the potential of every single one of us. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the revealer of Sri Vrindavan Dham, as Indradumna Maharaj says. It is said that we should enter into the mood of Vrindavan following a Brijabasi. And so many people would ask, Srila Prabhupada, which Brijabasi should we follow? And Srila Prabhupada said, I am that Brijabasi. We have a Brijabasi that we can follow in the mood of. Srila Prabhupada gave us everything. And we might think that he held back, but the more that we dive into the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, we'll see that he didn't hold anything back. His Holiness Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj, my family guru, would often say that there are so many mines. There's a jewel mine in the bottom of the ocean of Srila Prabhupada's teachings, just like there are jewels in the bottom of the ocean. But if you stay on the surface, all you find is seashells. You have to dive deeper and deeper down to the very bottom to find the priceless jewels that are only heard about. So with that said, we'll dive into chapter 22 of Krishna book. This is stealing the garments of the unmarried gopi girls. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. According to Vedic civilization, unmarried girls from 10 to 14 years of age are supposed to worship either Lord Shiva or Goddess Durga in order to get a nice husband. But the unmarried girls of Vrindavan were already attracted by the beauty of Krishna. They were, however, engaged in the worship of Goddess Durga in the beginning of the Hemant season, just prior to the winter season. The first month of Hemant is Agrahayana, October-November, and at that time, all the unmarried gopis of Vrindavan began to worship Goddess Durga with a vow. They first ate Havishyana, a kind of food prepared by boiling together mung dal and rice without any spices or turmeric. Woo! It's very intense. So they were eating unspiced khichdi. According to Vedic injunction, this kind of food is recommended to purify the body before one enacts a ritualistic ceremony. All the unmarried gopis in Vrindavan used to daily worship Goddess Katyayani early in the morning after taking a bath in the river Jamuna. Katyayani is another name for Goddess Durga. The goddess is worshipped by preparing a doll made of sand from the bank of the Jamuna. It is recommended in the Vedic scriptures that a deity be made from different kinds of material elements. It can be painted, so a picture, made of metal, made of jewels, made of wood, earth, or stone, or can be conceived within the heart of the worshipper. I like those kinds because they don't depend on any artistic abilities. They don't depend on any monetary values. You can concentrate the heart on the form of your most worshipable deity at any time, at any place. The Mayavadi philosopher takes all these forms of the deity to be imaginary, but actually they are accepted in the Vedic literatures to be identical with either the Supreme Lord or a respective demigod. The unmarried gopis used to prepare the deity of Goddess Durga and worship it with chandan pulp, garlands, incense, lamps, and all kinds of presentations, fruits, grain, and twigs of plants. After worshipping, it is customary to pray for some benediction. The unmarried girls used to pray with great devotion to Goddess Katyayani, addressing her as follows. The Sanskrit of this prayer is Katyayani Mahamaye Mahayoginyadeshwari Nandagopa Sutam Devi Patime Kurute Namaha. O supreme external energy of the personality of Godhead, O supreme mystic power, O supreme controller of this material world, O goddess, please be kind to us and arrange for our marriage with the son of Nanda Maharaj, Krishna. The Vaishnavas generally do not worship any demigods. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has strictly forbidden all worship of the demigods for anyone who wants to advance in pure devotional service. Yet the gopis, who are beyond compare in their affection for Krishna, were seen to worship Durga. So, we see this admonition, this admonishment from our previous acharyas that you need to give up all other ideas of worship and simply surrender unto Shri Krishna. And we can view it as a little bit strong, especially if we've grown up or been around so many different cultures that have as a very important culturalistic point the worship of so many different demigods. Sometimes we can get a little bit antagonistic as Vaishnavas, and we definitely shouldn't do that. We should not give up this kind of worship to the point of becoming disrespectful. We should respect all of the demigods. But sometimes, we think, why would Narottama Das Thakur say this? Why is Srila Prabhupada saying this? Why would so many of our acharyas or spiritual teachers say this? Actually, to properly perform the worship of any of these demigods is incredibly difficult. It takes a great amount of wealth. It takes a lot of rules and regulations. It takes a lot of perfect Sanskrit pronunciation, chanting, which very, 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 very few people can do today. It takes so much. And if you do something wrong, the consequences wind up being very severe. However, thanks to the chanting of the holy name, we can honor and respect everyone, all of the demigods included. And it will be stated later on that, by watering the root of the tree, every single part of the tree is nourished and satisfied. And so with the chanting of the holy name, every ritual, every ceremony can be made perfect. So sometimes we'll see family members will say, no, you must observe such a ritual, such a tradition. You must observe these things for the good of the family. Okay, absolutely. How do you reconcile both those things? You can do what you do for the sake of the family and chant Hare Krishna. And in this way, we can pray with all our hearts to these various personalities, because they are personalities. Indra, Vayu, Agni, Surya, these are personalities. We can pray to them all. Goddess Katyayani, you are the internal potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Oh, my dearest goddess, who better to help us get introduced to Krishna than you? She is seen as his own sister. I know. Have you ever seen somebody in a relationship and that the person that they're in the relationship with has a sibling? Everybody tries to get close to the sibling, right? Everybody tries to get close to the sibling to get close to the person that they're in the relationship with, because they know if you get in good with the sibling, somehow or other, they'll speak up for you. They will take up for you. They will make sure that everything goes right in your relationship. If things are going sideways, then the sibling usually is like, oh, well, they're not that bad. I loved them, Everybody wants to get close to the sibling. So in this way, we should all be wanting to get very close to Subhadra Devi. We should all be wanting to get close to Katyayani Devi, to Durga Devi, to Ekanamsha Devi, who is the very sister of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so if we are really trying to gain any kind of relationship with the Supreme Person, we can gain entrance to getting close to all of these personalities, even through the chanting of the holy name. We can let them know, I may not be able to do anything perfectly. In fact, I probably cannot do anything perfectly, but I can concentrate on you. And with your mercy, I can chant the holy name, and I can pray that you will be pleased by my chanting of the holy name. My gurus, my spiritual teachers have given me this holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And they have told me this Mahamantra can do anything. It can do everything. It can fulfill any desire. It is the best of the forms of worship. And so please accept my chanting of this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It's all I've got. It's all I've got. So as we go through Srimad Bhagavatam, because this prayer to Katyayani Devi is present within Srimad Bhagavatam, you can recite this prayer. It is such a simple prayer. And then we can chant the holy name, because by the chanting of the holy name, it makes everything perfect. We can pray to regain her favor, and she can somehow make all of our wildest dreams come true. So, the worshippers of demigods sometimes mention that the gopis worshipped goddess Durga, but we must understand the purpose of the gopis. Generally, people worship goddess Durga for some material benediction. Here, the gopis prayed to the goddess to become wives of Lord Krishna. The purport is that if Krishna is the center of activity, a devotee can adopt any means to achieve that goal. The gopis could adopt any means to satisfy or serve Krishna. That was the super excellent characteristic of the gopis. They worshipped goddess Durga completely for 1 month in order to have Krishna as their husband. Every day they prayed for Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, to become their husband. Early in the morning, the gopis used to go to the bank of the Jamuna to take a bath. They would assemble together and, holding one another's hands, loudly sing of the wonderful pastimes of Krishna. It is an old system among Indian girls and women that when they take a bath in the river, they place their garments on the bank and dip into the water completely naked. The portion of the river where the girls and women bathe was strictly prohibited to any male, and this is still the system. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, knowing the minds of the unmarried young gopis, blessed them with their desired objective. They had prayed for Krishna to become their husband, and Krishna wanted to fulfill their desires. At the end of the month, Krishna, along with his friends, appeared on the scene. Another name of Krishna is Yogeshwara, or Master of all mystic powers. By practicing meditation, the yogi can study the psychic movement of other men, and certainly Krishna could understand the desire of the gopis. Appearing on the scene, Krishna immediately collected all the garments of the gopis, climbed up into a nearby tree, and with a smiling face began to speak to them. "My dear girls," he said, "please come here one after another and pray for your garments and then take them away. I am not joking with you. I am just telling the truth. I have no desire to play any joke with you, for you are tired from observing the regulative principles for 1 month by worshipping goddess Katyayani. Please do not come here all at once. Come alone. I want to see each of you in your complete beauty, for all of you have thin waists. I have requested you to come alone. Now, please comply." Interesting. The thought here is when we pray for surrender, and then Krishna does what Krishna does, and he takes all of the things in an ultimate show of surrender. Can we view it in that Krishna is actually giving us what we prayed for? We are chanting the holy name, which is a call of surrender. We are praying to surrender everything that we are into Krishna's divine will, saying, "Oh my Lord, I no longer know what is best for me. I want to follow your divine will. Please show me yourself." But in order to give us himself, Krishna has to take away all the things that we think we hold dear. After losing 2 pair of shoes in Vrindavan, I was kind of thinking, "Dauji, what is it that you want?" And I realized he doesn't want anything. He was simply fulfilling my desire. My desire when I went into Vrindavan was in a mood of surrender. I want whatever you want, Dauji. I want whatever you want, Krishna. And all of that karma from this lifetime and any previous ones was gone. My Google Photos was showing me memories from 7 years ago. And I was thinking, every 7 years, you are basically, in essence, biologically, a completely new person. Everything that you thought you were, everything that you once were, was gone. It is a new era for all of us. So when I was looking back at those memories from 7 years ago, I was thinking, that person is now gone. That person was sacrificed during Kartik in Vrindavan. This is a new version of Achyuta Gopi. And now the possibilities are endless. What will I do with this new version of myself? What will we do with this new version of ourselves? We have passed this month of Kartik. We've passed into a new year, a new era. So many people view Diwali as a new year. After Kartik, there is such a downtime of rest. The festivals start to taper off until the new year comes. What will we do with this new version of ourselves? As we are in a little bit of a hibernation mode, we have the ability to ask ourselves, now that we have surrendered, and we are seeing the effects of that surrender in so many different ways. Some of us think, oh my God, I went through this Kartik praying for Krishna's mercy, and it seems like he's taking everything away. He's not. He's clearing out space. He is clearing out space for new blessings. I promise you that. Not only do I promise, but Lord Brahma himself promises. He is clearing out the way for all kinds of new benedictions. Within the prayers of Lord Brahma, within the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, this is chapter 14. And, it is... I'm going, because Lord Brahma has a lot to say in the 14th chapter of Canto 10. Lord Brahma has committed such a folly. He has he definitely stole the boys and cows from Sri Krishna. And actually, it's kind of important that we bring this up now, because all of the gopis were observing this vow to have Krishna as their husband. And it is stated that even Radharani, even though Radharani has no need to perform such austerities, she was performing these austerities just to become close to Krishna. And so when I was thinking about Katyayani Vrat, which comes right after Kartik Vrat, sometimes people are like, oh my gosh. And as a young person growing up, I would often observe Katyayani Vrat, and I was thinking about all of the different times in my life when I observed it, and I was thinking, now at this new version of myself, what do I want to focus on? And I was thinking, Srimati Radharani is constantly obsessed with just somehow getting closer and closer to Krishna. That's it. She just wants to get closer and closer to Krishna. And in this mood, she observes this vrat again and again. And does it actually come true? The answer is yes, because during the time when Lord Brahma steals all of the boys and the calves from Sri Krishna thinks, I cannot go home without them. And so what does he do? He expands himself as all of the boys and the calves for one whole year. And I know we've spoken about this on See Through before, but it's a wonderful recap for all of us who are new to this podcast. And so when Krishna expands for that full year, Yogamaya Devi, this internal potency of Sri Krishna, the very potency that we are speaking of, who is the same as Katyayani Devi, she inspires all of the leaders of the Gopas, all of the cowherd men of Vrindavan, that now you should get your daughters married to very eligible members of the Gopa community. You should get them married to other Gopas. But it just so happened that all of these other Gopas were actually Krishna, because he had expanded himself during that time. So these prayers do not ever, ever, ever go in vain. Krishna is within the pastime of Shakshi Gopal in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Srila Prabhupada states that Krishna must make a situation whereby everyone is satisfied and happy. So sometimes, even though we might think, how is Krishna supposed to make all of this possible? Somehow or other, Krishna makes a situation whereby everyone is pleased. He must, Srila Prabhupada says. So when we think about it and we think as though, okay, I tried to do the surrender and now Krishna is ripping everything away from me that I know and I love. We can meditate on verse 8 from Srimad Bhagavatam. So 10:14:8. Lord Brahma says, "My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds, and offering you respectful obeisances within his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim." So even though we might think, I was just minding my own business and then Krishna took everything away from me. Yes, we are simply suffering the past reactions of our misdeeds. And all we have to do is keep the faith that Krishna's mercy is coming. That is a childlike faith. Children, if you promise them something, they will keep the faith that it is coming. My parent promised me, so it must be true. So many times Krishna has said, no, my mother has said, so it must be true. Whatever Mother Yashoda says, Krishna says, must be true. So in this same way, we can focus on what Lord Brahma has told us, on what Srila Prabhupada has told us, and think we should know with absolute certainty it must be true. So if Krishna has taken from us this Kartik, his blessings must be coming. It must be true. And I'm a little excited to see what those blessings will be for all of us. I am excited to see the blessings that will enter into your life miraculously. They are coming. And I know because, as Krishna says, declare it boldly, Arjuna, that my devotee is never vanquished. Now, Krishna, somehow or other, my Lord, I am redeclaring Lord Brahma's words boldly. We are waiting on your mercy, constantly offering obeisance to you from within our hearts, our minds, our words. Now your causeless mercy must be coming upon us. It must be true. Because the statements of your devotees can never be proven false. Never. The statements of the devotees of the Lord are infallible as our infallible Lord himself. Our Lord, who is known as Achyuta. Infallible. They must be made infallible. So I know, and I am praying for every single one of you watching this podcast, either live or in the replay. I am absolutely praying that this statement is absolutely true for you, and that not a day goes by from this moment where you do not see the miracles and the blessings of Shri Krishna entering your life. Our Lord may have taken from you, but he is only clearing out space so that he can shower you with unending, unlimited blessings. He is making room for his mercy in your life. He is not taken from you. He's making room for his mercy in your life, I promise. And I pray that we all have a chance to see it. Through the tears, through the heartache, through the stinging of going through that tapasya. Tapasya means heat. Tapa is heat. It burns. Trust me, I know. I felt it. This Kartik, I felt it. I felt the heat. Cried many, many tears. Let it happen. Let the tears fall. Offer them. Surrender them. Bathe the lotus feet of our Supreme Bestie with those tears. And then the next day we pick ourselves back up and we remind ourselves, but I love Krishna. There's no way I can leave my Krishna because I love Krishna. His mercy is coming. Krishna's mercy is coming. If we can chant with that longing, with that remembrance, Krishna's mercy is coming. Krishna's mercy is coming. Krishna's mercy is coming, then we will see every moment as an opportunity for the greatest blessings. So let's see what happens with the gopis, because Krishna's mercy is coming. When the girls in the water heard such joking words from Krishna, they began to look at one another and smile. They were very joyous to hear such a request from Krishna because they were already in love with him. Out of shyness, they looked at one another, but they could not come out of the water because they were naked. Due to remaining in the water for a long time, they felt very cold and were shivering. Yet upon hearing the pleasing, joking words of Govinda, their minds were perturbed with great joy. They told Krishna, "Dear son of Nanda Maharaj, please do not joke with us in that way. It is completely unjust to us. You are a very respectable boy because you are the son of Nanda Maharaj, and you are very dear to us, but you should not play this joke on us because now we are all shivering from the cold water. Kindly deliver our garments immediately, otherwise we shall suffer." They then began to appeal to Krishna with great submission. "Dear Sham Sundar," they said, "we are all your eternal servitors. Whatever you order us to do, we are obliged to perform without hesitation, because we consider it our religious duty. But if you insist on putting this proposal to us, which is impossible to perform, then certainly we will have to go to Nanda Maharaj and lodge a complaint against you. If Nanda Maharaj does not take action, then we shall tell King Kamsa about your misbehavior." So basically, they tell Krishna, "We're going to tell. We will complain up to the greatest level possible." Upon hearing this appeal by the unmarried gopis, Krishna answered, "Oh, my dear girls, if you think that you are my eternal servitors and you are always ready to execute my order, then my request is that with your smiling faces, you please come here alone, one after another, and take your garments. If you do not come here, however, and if you lodge complaints with my father, I shall not care anyway, for I know my father is old and cannot take any action against me. Oh my God, he's such a bad kid. Oh, why is he so troublesome? Have we ever felt this in our lives? Krishna, why are you troubling me so? Oh, I wish that I could just go and lodge a complaint against you." Also, Krishna tells them, "Sure, go ahead, lodge the complaints. How are you going to get out of the water? I have your clothes." you are missing clothes and are completely naked. So sure, lodge your complaints. I don't know how you're going to do that, but be my guest. And so all of the gopis are incredibly, seemingly frustrated with this Krishna who troubles their lives. And he does the same with our lives. Sometimes we get so frustrated with this Krishna. "Oh, you are troubling me." But it is the sweetest trouble ever. If Krishna did not come and make trouble in our lives, and if we didn't know that it was Krishna doing it, we'd feel completely lost. All of the hardships in our lives would lose all meaning. I know that I would have lost my mind had I not had spiritual literatures to tell me, "No, this is Krishna's doing. Do not worry, dear soul." Because I would not have had anywhere to turn. I would not have had any way to make sense of the things that happen in life if I didn't have Krishna. If I didn't have Srila Prabhupada, if I didn't have Krishna book, if I did not have Srimad Bhagavatam to tell me, "No, dear friend, see these hurdles as Krishna working in your life, even if he is causing you some trouble." It is the sweetest interaction that we could ever have. Somehow Krishna is making some pastime within our lives. And what we see by the way he interacts with all of the Brijabasis is the way he makes pastimes in their lives is very dramatic and very intense. When the gopis saw that Krishna was strong and determined, they had no alternative but to abide by his order. One after another, they came out of the water. But because they were completely naked, they tried to cover their nakedness by placing their left hand over their pubic area. In that posture, they were all shivering. Their simple presentation was so pure that Lord Krishna immediately became pleased with them. So what do we do when the Lord has taken everything from us? Our ideas of ourselves, our ideas of our ego, our ideas of our prestige, our ideas of our reputation, our ideas of everything we thought we were. Metaphorically, Krishna takes everything away from us. Sometimes literally, Krishna takes everything away from us. What do? then we run before Krishna as we are, and we say, look, I'm yours. What do you want? I'm yours. Draupadi was in a very intense situation where she was about to be disrobed. Her reputation was at stake. This was a grievous, like treacherous overstep. It was a complete egregious like molestation of everything that she was. She was the queen, and now she was being called a servant, and all kinds of cruel, harsh names that should never be repeated. And she had to throw up both hands. Krishna, Govinda, save me. And he did. He absolutely did. But somehow Krishna demands this surrender. So, we think, I wouldn't mind. Krishna can take what he wants. But Krishna knows. Paramatma knows exactly what to take, how to take it, what to do, where it means a lot to us. Krishna does not simply, his view of surrender is not the same for everyone, because he knows every soul is completely individual and has a completely individual relationship with him. And so he knows what means surrender for every individualized soul. So just when we think, if he were to do what he did with the gopis, no problem. But his idea of surrender is to look inside the heart and say, oh, what is it exactly that means surrender for you? And he takes that. He takes that which we are holding back. He takes that which we are hiding. That thing that only we really, really know, deep within the recesses of our hearts and minds. Krishna is an expert thief, and he looks through, and he's so crooked, so bent in three places. His form is beautiful, but it is so crooked, so good for winding in between the dark shadows of the heart. And then he finds that which we hold most dear, which we are hiding. And he says, got it. Give me this. Come to me without any of it. Any of our ego, any of our reputation, any of the things that we hold dear. Every day, I look at my own reflection, and my hair is a reminder of that surrender. I look at it and I think, because I was very kind of happy and proud of my whimsical half purple hair that was very cool and chic and stylish and all of the things. And one day I thought, do I need it to be me? Do I need it to be me? What would it be if I gave it all to Krishna? What would it be if I gave it all to Balaji? All of the things that I thought were cool about myself, all of the things that I thought were amazingly, elegant, and all the things about myself, what if I gave them all to Krishna? And so one day, on an auspicious day, I did. And every day it was supposed to remind me that all of the things that I thought were cool about myself, I have to give it to Krishna. It is him alone that carries who I am, what I think I am, my reputation, my outward appearance, elegance, beauty, any of it. It is Krishna alone. It is a manifestation of my Govinda alone. Will he carry what I lack and preserve what I have? Absolutely. He will. Every day, he carries what I lack and he preserves what I have. So, we might be reading this thinking, yeah, but him stealing the clothes of the gopis and all of these things, it is Krishna decides on what the price of that surrender will be. And even if we think, but I didn't pray that, Krishna says, no, I want you to become very dear to me. Because when he takes from us, he is under obligation now. He says, but I must repay you. And sometimes, as he's seen with the gopis, he actually cannot repay them for what they have given him. And so he says, take me, all of me. I with tears in his eyes, he is a little speechless by what the gopis have given him. He says, all I have is for you to be pleased with your own actions. Who can make the Supreme Lord, from whom all speech emanates, speechless? These gopis. It is these gopis who say, we've sacrificed everything. Homes, husbands, fathers-in-laws, families-in-laws, our reputation, everything that we have is at stake. Our babies, whatever it is, our very lives, we have sacrificed it for you. And what kind of lover are you? And all Krishna can do is kind of sit stunned with tears pouring forth from his eyes, saying, you're right. You've given me everything. What can I give you? Because all they want is love for Krishna. And so he thinks, I have to gain love for my very own self. The only way he can repay them is to take on the beautiful form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and then give the love of the gopis to everyone, anyone, everywhere, as the ultimate gesture of reciprocation. He loses himself in the madness of the gopis' love, and then gives that love of God to everyone. I feel like, as we get ready for Christmas, Mahaprabhu, he's original Santa, okay? He comes bearing gifts. He will arrive within the dark cave, the chimney-like cave of the heart, bearing the greatest gift of love of God, and fie on us and our very lives if we don't just take it. Just take it. Krishna is already taking from us. Krishna is demanding this surrender. God will demand the surrender. Whether we want to give it or not, God will take the surrender from us by force. But when he does, he will fill up our hearts with the greatest miracles. So, their simple presentation was so pure that Lord Krishna immediately became pleased with them. All the unmarried gopis who prayed to Katyayani to have Krishna as their husband were thus satisfied. A woman cannot be naked before any male except her husband. The unmarried gopis desired Krishna as their husband, and he fulfilled their desire in this way. Being pleased with them, he took their garments on his shoulder and began to speak as follows. My dear girls, you have committed a great offense by going naked in the river Jamuna. Because of this, the predominating deity of the Jamuna, Varuna, has become displeased with you. Please, therefore, touch your foreheads with your folded palms and bow down before the demigod Varuna in order to be excused from this offensive act. Lord. So if you remember, they came out really trying to cover themselves with their hands. Like that's all that they have left. And now he's telling them, no. Now you have to take it one step further, because we think when Krishna starts to take the surrender, we're like, okay, fine, take it. And then Krishna's like, no, one step further. You are not allowed to hold on to anything. And we're like, oh, come on. You're like, must you? He likes churned butter, and that butter churning, it's like really gotten the cream of the crop of the milk products, it's really gotten all of the sweetness of all of the milk products. And I feel like that's what he does with our lives and our surrender. He is eager for the churned sweetness of our surrender. And just when we think, oh, I'll hold on, and then Krishna says, no. Pay your obeisances. With both hands above your head. And you're like, oh, come on. Oh. But But this is our lives. When it happens in our lives, we think, oh, Krishna has really wrung out the surrender from us. And just when we think, okay, I've held on to just one small morsel of something that I've had left, and Krishna says, no, 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 give it all. Oh, the gopis were all simple souls, and whatever Krishna said, they took to be true. In order to be freed from the wrath of Varuna Dev, as well as to fulfill the desire and end their vows, and ultimately to please their worshipable Lord Shri Krishna, they immediately abided by his order. Thus they became the greatest lovers of Krishna and his most obedient servitors. Nothing can compare with the Krishna consciousness of the gopis. Actually, the gopis did not care for Varuna or any other demigod. They only wanted to satisfy Krishna. Krishna became very ingratiated and satisfied by the simple dealings of the gopis, and he immediately delivered their respective garments one after another. Although Krishna cheated the young unmarried gopis and made them stand naked before him and enjoyed joking words with them, and although he treated them just like dolls and stole their garments, they were still pleased with him and never lodged complaints against him. This attitude of the gopis is described by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he prays, my dear Lord Krishna, you may embrace me or trample me under your feet, or you may make me broken-hearted by never being present before me. Whatever you like you can do, because you have complete freedom to act. But in spite of all your dealings, you are my Lord eternally, and I have no other worshipable object. This is the attitude of the gopis toward Krishna. Lord Krishna was pleased with them, and since they all desired to have him as their husband, he told them, my dear well-behaved girls, I know of your desire for me and why you worshipped goddess Katyayani, and I completely approve of your action. Anyone whose full consciousness is always absorbed in me, even if in lust, is elevated. As a fried seed cannot fructify, so any desire in connection with my loving service cannot produce any fruitive result as in ordinary karma. There is a statement in the Brahma Samhita, karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam. Everyone is bound by his fruitive activities, but the devotees, because they work completely for the satisfaction of the Lord, suffer no reactions. Similarly, the gopis' attitude toward Krishna, although seemingly lusty, should not be considered to be like the lusty desires of ordinary women. The reason is explained by Krishna himself. Activities in devotional service to Krishna are transcendental to any fruitive result. My dear gopis, Krishna continued, your desire to have me as your husband will be fulfilled, because it is with this desire that you worshipped goddess Katyayani. I promise you that during the next autumn season, you shall be able to meet with me, and you shall enjoy me as your husband. Later, Krishna, in the company of his cowherd boyfriends, took shelter of the shade of some trees and became very happy. Thus he addressed the inhabitants of Vrindavan. My dear Stoka Krishna, my dear Varutapa, my dear Bhadrasena, my dear Sudama, my dear Subal, my dear Arjuna, my dear Vishal, my dear Rishabh, just look at these most fortunate trees of Vrindavan. They have dedicated their lives to the welfare of others. Individually, they are tolerating all kinds of natural disturbances such as hurricanes, torrents of rain, scorching heat, and piercing cold, but they are very careful to relieve our fatigue and give us shelter. My dear friends, I think they are glorified in this birth as trees. They are so careful to give shelter to others that they are like noble, highly elevated, charitable men who never deny charity to one who approaches them. No one is denied shelter by these trees. They supply various kinds of facilities to human society, such as leaves, flowers, fruit, shade, roots, bark, flavor extracts, and fuel. They are the perfect example of noble life. They are like a noble person who has sacrificed everything possible, his body, mind, activities, intelligence, and words, for the welfare of all living entities. Thus, the Supreme Personality of Godhead walked on the bank of the Jamuna, touching the leaves of the trees and their fruits, flowers, and twigs, and praising their glorious welfare activities. That is all we can hope for. That one day we may have just done our very best with whatever we have, with whatever body we are in, so that Krishna will praise us and then touch us, place his hand over our lives as a show of gratitude. Look what my devotee has done. My devotee is so noble that he is willing to give me anything, everything. Different people may accept certain welfare activities to be beneficial for human society according to their own views, but the welfare activity that can be rendered to people in general for eternal benefit is the spreading of the Krishna consciousness movement. Everyone should be prepared to propagate this movement. As instructed by Lord Chaitanya, one should be humbler than the grass on the ground and more tolerant than the tree. The toleration of the tree is explained by Lord Krishna himself, and those who are engaged in the preaching of Krishna consciousness should learn lessons from the teachings of Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya through their direct disciplic succession. While passing through the forest of Vrindavan on the bank of the Jamuna, Krishna sat down at a beautiful spot and allowed the cows to drink the cold and transparent water of the Jamuna. Being fatigued, the cowherd boys, Krishna, and Balaram also drank. After seeing the young gopis bathe in the Jamuna, Krishna passed the rest of the morning with the boys. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 22nd chapter of Krishna, stealing the garments of the unmarried gopi girls. All glories to Sri Vrindavan Dham. All glories to the Kalpa Vriksha trees of Vrindavan, which have been caressed by Shri Krishna. All glories to the dust of Vrindavan, which Srila Prabhupada says is non-different than Krishna himself, having been impressed with the lotus feet of Shri Krishna. All glories to all of us who have come to take shelter of Sri Vrindavan Dham, the very Dham that appears within the mind and the heart, which has sprung forth from the words of our acharyas, our great teachers. And all glories to our desire to take shelter of the teachings of divinity, of our supreme, dearmost friend. All glories to all of your surrender, whether given willingly or unwillingly. I offer my respectful obeisances to that surrender. As we tolerate, let us remember that the trees of Vrindavan were also tolerating, and Krishna knew. So as you tolerate, as things are happening to you, do not think Krishna doesn't know. Do not think that Krishna is blind or deaf to our instances and what is happening in our life. Krishna knows. And make no mistake, he is telling his friends, "Oh, my friends, oh, my dear gopis of Vrindavan, look at my devotee. Look what they are tolerating for my sake, just for our sake. Look what they are doing. Look what they are undertaking." And then Krishna will caress our lives with his beautiful hand. That hand which soothes every ache and pain. That hand which is soothing and makes every trouble feel like nothing more than a shower of flower petals, just like he did for Govardhan. Because of the contact with the hand of Shri Krishna, Govardhan was in complete ecstasy for 7 days and felt the thunderbolts of King Indra like no more than a shower of flower petals. May it be the same for all of us, and may Shri Krishna's lotus-like palms give us all protection. So friends, let the tears flow. But also know that the blessings are coming. Just know Krishna is talking about you. This surrender is catching his attention. He's saying, "Oh, look what they've done for me. I have caused trouble in their lives, but look at how they've tolerated. Look at how they have given themselves to me. Look at how they have then given shade to so many different devotees in the form of this Krishna consciousness. They are an example for devotees everywhere, just in the way that they have tolerated. If you have tolerated, and I know we all have tolerated, please know Krishna sees your surrender and he is enamored with you. Krishna sees everything that you are doing and he is so impressed with you. May our Lord be impressed and pleased with every single one of us. Thank you, devotees, for making the endeavor to be here. There are so many of you that are here, and I pray that you tell your friends, and there are even more of us that are here next week. Thank you. Giving me time out of your day is no small thing. Time is all we have. It is the most precious of commodities. And you all giving me your time. Krishna says, time I am. So if you have all given me the greatest gift of Govinda's own presence in your life. You have given me Govinda, and I pray that we can share Govinda with each other. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll come back next week, same time, same place. And we will hear about the wives of the Brahmins, the Yajna Patnis, and we will see what they gave to Krishna. And we'll talk more about this wonderful surrender. But until then, I pray that all of us see the beautiful hand of Krishna caressing our lives, and that we understand that this surrender is the key to catching Krishna's attention. Krishna has taken so much from every single one of us, but he gives us himself in return. And I pray that we see Krishna every day. It would be the perfection of our lives. But Krishna's already showing up. And I was saying that once I pray for Krishna to show up in my life, I was saying to my friend Leela, can I then let Krishna love me? Or am I so stuck on whatever I was holding on to? I'm praying, Krishna, take everything and give me yourself. And then when he shows up, I'm like, no, not like that. So now I pray to accept Krishna's love into my life. We have to let Krishna love us. That's the second half of surrender. We pray for surrender, and then Krishna comes and we surrender, and then he has to save us. Let him save you. Give everything and let him save you. You all are in my heart and in my mind and in my prayers all this week. Thank you for being here, and we'll see each other soon. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki jai, Shri Radha Govinda Devi ki jai, Jai Nitai, Jai Nitai, Jai Nitai. I'll see you all soon. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. All glories to all of the Vaishnavas who make every single one of these live streams possible. Tell your friends. Let's come together next week and make a great sacrifice of reciting the glories of Shri Krishna. Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. See y'all soon.
Jai. Her Grace Chittakabi ki jai.
My friends like to embarrass me. I accept it.
Haribo.
Hari Hari Bo.